Alright, so what's going on here is these trim tabs are 12 by 12 and I'm going to put on 18 by 12 because I don't have enough force to bury the bow in this thing coming back in the snot. We'll get a tape measure here. Let's say 12, 12, and the new ones are going to be 18, or they are 18, which will take it to here. And that little difference between here and here is 50% of the all of this here. So first thing I do here, and did, is to check these screws to make sure they're not frozen in there, needing some heat, so they don't break any of those stainless, because those do break easy. Next, I'm going to take a look at these here. That looks like a number 2. That was a number 3 screw here. Hopefully these here will also turn. They do. Yep. Put power to it. That's a number 2 screw. Let's take a look at those. The little clamshell here. And my wire goes through. Good. And I'll be reusing that hole right there. A little bit of silicone in there, not too much. I'll be cutting that wire. So I guess the next thing to do is probably cut the wire. Well, before I do that, let's take a look at the new ones to make sure they're actually here. They look good, like they're gonna work. I went with Bennett instead of these over here are Lenco. And I did that because of the Bennett had better reviews. I think they're probably very similar. The price is similar. But I went with Bennett, and these are called the Bennett Bolt 1812. Let's take a look at them. All right, let's see what we get in the kit. Guess you go online and get that. That must be extension wire, I'm guessing. They give you some screws, some hardware, some connectors, some more screws. Hopefully those are enough. This is here. Here's the new trim tabs and the new hinges. So, they'll be in here like this, I guess, huh? Let's take a look at the hinge and see how it looks like it's gonna fit. Before we do anything else here. There is a tack wheel down here, but I don't need it. I can take that off. And that looks like there's plenty of room there. So I'd say, let's take a look at the cylinders. The actuators. This is nice heavy stainless too. I like that. I thought there was going to be some side uprights on it, but that's okay. The picture had them anyway. It's kind of weird that it doesn't match the picture. Here's the cylinders. Here. We'll figure out where they're going to line up. We'll put some silicone inside once we get things moving here. Nice long wires. So, I think it's safe to take the old ones off. I'm going to get my wire cutters. We'll hack those. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these here inside and leave this wire long so they can be reused, because these still work. I could probably sell those used and get something back. Sit here. Okay. Oh. The good news is it's a 2-wire system, not 3, so it's going to match up with the old switches. think the Lenco wire is better than the Bennett, because it's this nice covered wire instead of the other stuff coming out of there. So I'll put some heat shrink over it before I pull it through, make a nice job of it. So I think we're going to pull these screws out of there now. This guy will drop right off of there, if you can see that. That doesn't want to go in there very well. The last thing I want to do is strip one of these things. I think I have to go one extra extension on here to clear the back. Like this. Grab my bit. Let's see how that looks. That's stripping, and we're not going to let that happen. I hope. Get the hand screwdriver on that. All right, let's see how much we can automate now. Does not want to. Must not be a very good. Yeah, this thing. I don't want to strip those guys because I don't have a real mess. What I do wonder is if I used a good number 2, if that'd be better than this bad number 3. Let's try that. In the interest of going faster, let's see. If this works. It does. works very well. Maybe this is supposed to be number 2. I don't know. That dropped off nice. Let's get these out of here. There we go. Off. The new one is going to go all the way from here down to there. And it says it's okay to go over that chime like that. I see a few abandoned screws here. Those will have to come out. Hopefully these won't give me any trouble. You know, that doesn't look good right away. This is going to need a little tap in. There's 4 screws here that are just painted over and abandoned. That's coming out. I'll fill those in with 5200 afterwards. Actually, I should have saved that to tap with. These are actually in fairly bad shape on those heads, so this is one of those times when you really need the technique to stop from breaking and stripping and all that. Give it a couple taps like that, seats the screwdriver and kind of loosens up the threads in the fiberglass, or whatever it's in there. And this nice Steigercraft. What a great company that is too. Alright, so next I'm gonna clean up this surface right here. Get a file or some coarse sandpaper or something like that. Let's see what I got. Take some minor taps with the belt sander just to get that nice and flat and clean before we do anything else. So we're gonna have to fill some of those abandoned holes. Excuse me. I gotta put this together and see where everything's gonna land. Let's go back to this side here. And let's see. This here. Here. Let's see if there's a left and a right. I don't think so. They look the same. Let's see what it says. Well, there is. Let me see which is which. There's a 57 and a 59. Let's see. What's the difference? We have to look at the instructions. Oh, that was online, wasn't it? Well, let's see. The packet. Are these two the same? That's a 76. What's this one? I think these are the same. Yeah, these are the same. So let's open up the bag. So we got connector, pins, and go through. I guess nothing holds those, huh? That's weird. And then these machine screws. Hopefully you can see that. Let's see where these go. Let's see it goes like that. And then this guy here, oh, the screws hold that in place because they can't get by the screw. That makes it captive. Okay. So I just need to pull back one of these screws. That's kind of clever. I like that. Like that. And you put this pin in here. Like that. There it goes. And you put this back in. And you can't get by it. That's pretty clever. Okay. And then this here is going to go over that. Attached to the boat. So let's go see how it. Oh, another interesting thing is this goes through the center here of where it's going to go. Now, what are the chances it's going to go in the same spot that the other one was in? 1,000,000 to 1, maybe? 2,000,000 to 1? 1,000,000,000 to 1? We'll find out. All right, so let's see how this is going to line up. It's going to need a new hole there. This is going to be down here, like that. And let's hope it doesn't hit the floor. That there's enough room above the deck in there. Let's see. It's going to come down to here. That's interesting. Oh, wait a second, it goes up a little bit higher. Let's get that piece that goes in here. And I don't know if I even have the right side here. Well, one thing I notice is there's no screws up and around here. I could add a couple of holes and throw in a couple extra screws. I think I will if I can drill the stainless. I don't know if I'll be able to drill it. Depends on the grade of stainless and what I get for bits. I don't even know if I want to try. I'll just put some silicone behind it. Let's take this and see if we can use an old screw hole. Maybe get lucky on with that one. That looks like it's actually the same spot on more than one. Isn't that coincidental? Let's try that and see how it lines up. Use one of the old screws here. In here, which won't fit. Interesting. The new screws are smaller than the old screws. Apparently. Well, I assume it's engineered because of they've been making these a long time, but the Lenco stuff seems like it's better mounting than the Bennett. at first blush. Okay, let's take this one and just catch it a little bit. And this hole is probably going to be too big. Okay. Looks like I can use some of the same old holes. This one here I can use. But is that up high enough where it's going to entrap this like it's supposed to? Let's take the one that doesn't have a cylinder on it and see how it lines up. Let's see. I think there's a hole right here it'll catch. Yeah, there is. Okay. So that goes down, I would say all the way. And up's going to be right here. So let's take a cylinder, put it on here, and see how it lines up. Definitely a bigger flap. Okay. I just found these inside. Obviously they go behind these and help keep it all together. Okay, it's all the way up, somewhere down. Just put on a cylinder and see what's gonna end up here, because my concern is that it needs to be above the deck, and this is around the deck where the scupper is. Okay, that's where one cylinder goes. The other one, let's go get it. Okay, here we go. Let's see what's going to happen here. Boy, that is, well, it can come up a little bit. It doesn't have to be waterline. It should be up a bit anyway. Looks like it's just going to make it. These will all get abandoned and painted over, and that will be above the waterline, and then they'll go down like that. Let's take a look on the inside of the boat, see what's over there. Hopefully nothing. Scenery. Let's do a measure to the floor. Yeah, I brought a tape measure out here. Where'd it go? Where'd that go? Into this? There it is. Okay, so definitely want to leave some room above the floor. All right, almost exactly 2 feet to the floor. Here, let's see, that's 2 feet. Okay, that's the floor. It's actually, yeah, because here's the scupper. The scupper's even with the floor. So this has to come up somewhere around here. I want it as low as possible so I have as much flap as I could ever want. Going down. I have to worry about that. Well, one hole, all I have to worry about is where the wire goes through. And not hitting above. So actually, that's the next thing is I need to look at the need a straight edge along the bottom of the boat, because you have to be above that always. So I think around here is going to be good, actually. Somewhere around here. Put a hole through it there, and that edge is nicely above, except this end here is down just a little bit. That's hitting the water, so it can get cocked up a bit. I get to use a bunch of the old holes. Everything looks pretty damn good. Up like that. And that will give me, hopefully, the ability to bury the bow, which I couldn't do before. So, I think that's it for today. Excuse me. My allergies, I think. I hope. Let's see. Got those rusted bolts in there I don't like. All right. I'm gonna get a straight edge and a marker so I can get an idea where that's going to end up. So, that's level right there. We want to go up a bit from there. So I'm thinking somewhere around here for the hole. Got right there. See what that gives me about. See. I'll have to read the instructions, but it looks pretty good so far. I don't know how long these extend. Probably, I don't know. Looks like it will go down 4 or 5 inches, somewhere like that. That's gonna be a lot of pressure in the bow. All right, so I'm pretty happy with the Bennett stuff. On the downside, maybe on the downside, the mounting screws don't look as beefy as the screws that come with the Lenco, but everything else looks pretty good. And I thought that these had some uprights on it in the picture, and they don't. But apparently, that's strong enough because they sell them, and apparently I would say they have to work. Let's take this off of here, and then tomorrow maybe I'll finish the job. I have to get some 5200. Although honestly, I could probably use that Pro Black Permatex would probably work fine to fill in these old holes. All right.